Hi and welcome back to Pacific Prana Yoga. We're hiking today. First of all, look at that. Wow. We're surrounded by poison oak in shorts, so let's pray. I was thinking about the content that I want to be sharing with you guys. And of course, that's yoga and yoga flows, and I'm going to continue to do that. However, I also told myself that I would be sharing more spiritual content in nature. So I often find myself talking with my friends, my students, etc. about the power of meditation. And I know for some that could be sort of a daunting word. It doesn't have to be this rigid practice. However, implementing this practice in your life daily is transformative. Another thing that people tend to not realize or forget about meditation is that it takes consistency to really see differences in your life. Just like a sport or a hobby or something new that you're trying, it's not going to make you feel like a completely new person the first time that you do it. Even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes a day, it's going to completely transform your life, your disposition, your mindset, connect you with your spirit and your body exponentially. So, try this with me. Go ahead and think. I know you're probably pretty good at that, because most people are. But go ahead and think. And just start to notice your thoughts. If you want, you can close your eyes. If not, totally fine. Just begin to notice what you're thinking about. Let go of the judgment that comes up. Just simply notice. What is it that you're thinking about? Go ahead and hold on to that thought for a minute. Imagine yourself holding it in your hands. And then just release it. Release that thought. Completely forget about it. If you can. Who was doing that releasing? Who was doing the holding of that thought? It's you. It's your awareness, your loving energy, your consciousness, which is part of this collective consciousness. For those of you who watched White Lotus, the show, this past season in Thailand, there's a Thai monk that describes the essence of who we truly are to one of the Americans visiting. And it really, really resonated with me. I feel like the way he put it was very palatable. And I just want to remind you, or tell you if you didn't watch White Lotus, he said something along the lines of, imagine yourself, your individual self, as a droplet of water propelling up from the ocean. So when a wave crashes, you know, there's a splash of a bunch of water droplets. The second that water droplet, you, propels up from the ocean as a whole, is your life. As it moves up, that is your life. And as it moves down, that's also your lifetime as an individual. But at the end of its lifetime of propelling up from the ocean and then falling back down into it, it falls back into it and becomes one with the ocean again. There's no way to pick out that same water droplet ever again. I think that is a great way to describe collective consciousness and, you know, who you truly are, who I truly am, who everyone truly is, whether they realize it or not. And that just goes to show you how our thoughts are really, they're not us. We're just thinking them, and we have very powerful imaginations. We are more than what we experience here. So, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't make the most out of our experience here. I'm not saying your life is insignificant or my life is insignificant, unless you want to think that way. But
that time in the air for that water droplet is fleeting and precious.
Yeah.
So take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. You are not your ego. You are not your judgments. Not that these are bad things. Your thoughts are not bad. Your ego is not bad. Your judgment is not always bad. But often these things tend to get in the way when we are trying to clear our mind, sit in silence. So we're gonna try to do that again, that exercise that we just did. But this time I want you to close your eyes if you didn't already. So go ahead, close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths and allow your mind to run at its own speed, on its own course. Allow your thoughts to flow. Allow them to flow freely. But release any judgment that may come up. We're not judging ourselves here. I'm not judging you. And you're not judging me right now. Go ahead, hold your thoughts in your mind. Maybe holding on to one specific thought that may be running through your mind. You could even hold it in your hands. Imagine yourself holding it physically. And find compassion for it, as opposed to judgment. Find compassion here. Send that thought some love, some compassion. Taking in a deep inhale here. And on your exhale, go ahead and release that thought. Maybe throwing it out in front of you. It's no longer with you. It's simply a figment of your imagination. So notice how you're feeling here. Maybe another thought came up immediately. That's okay. We're not judging ourselves again. Maybe your mind was still here for just a second. And that's the goal. You're gonna start small. It might not be this monumental thing right now, but even if it was just for a second, your mind was clear. We released the thoughts. You were tapped into your awareness, your loving energy, the collective consciousness, God, what have you. Whatever you want to call it. And that is meditation. Again, ego, judgment, those are some factors that tend to get in the way of being that state of meditation and taking a step closer to bliss. But that's not to say that they're bad things. We don't want to suppress the ego and our judgment, because one, our judgment can save us in a lot of situations. And same with our ego. Our ego is the thing that tells us to get out of bread. Our ego is the thing that tells us to get out of bed and brush our teeth every morning, right? So what we want to do with ego judgment is to make friends with these things. We don't want to suppress. Suppressing anything results in explosion, and we don't want that. Your ego doesn't have to be this rigid thing. It doesn't have to be so serious. It doesn't have to be so attached to this person that you think that you are right now. You can have fun with your ego. You can pick whatever character you want to play in this lifetime. And you can change that character. It doesn't have to be this serious, rigid thing. You can learn to be playful here and laugh at yourself. You are not your ego, but you do have control over it. You are not your ego. You are not your thoughts. You are not this body. You are one with all of this. See how still it is? See how it's not in a rush, yet everything still blooms and thrives when it's meant to? Basically what I'm trying to tell you is you have control. You can meditate. You can find stillness in the mind to better yourself and better this life that you're living. You've never done this before, so be soft with yourself. And I'm not saying this insinuating that I'm perfect in any way, shape, or form. I'm still learning to implement meditation in my life every day. If you've thought about meditation, it's for a reason. It's calling to you. Listen to yourself. Listen to this energy, this essence that is you and surrounds you.